I know y'all tired, because I'm tired. We all tired. We are all tired, sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's time to make a change. If any time is now, it's time to make a change. What's up, YouTube? Boy, back once again with another sport topic, and today we're talking some football, Houston Texans football. Today we're going to talk about some top potential head coaching candidates, because it's time. It's time to move on from Lovie from the head coaching position. I know people saying, "Oh, it's a 1 year thing, and you can't move on from 2 1 year coaches at back-to-back years and 2 black coaches." Speaking, this is coming from a black man. This is coming from a black man. I don't care about getting rid of Lovie Smith after 1 year, and you got rid of David Culley. It's 2 black coaches that only coached 1 year. I don't care. The Texans get a pass for me. I do not care. It is time to make a head coaching change. It's time. We could not go into next season with especially a brand new quarterback with this type of team. We cannot. We definitely cannot. We're gonna break down the candidates. We're gonna break down before we get in there, like I've been telling y'all before. If you liking the content, man, make sure you liking the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you comment on all the videos. Make sure you sharing all the videos on all social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, any type of social media platform you use. Make sure you share on the same social media platforms. Also, follow me on social media as well. The links in the description below. Make sure you hit them links in the description. Follow me on social media. Like I say, like the channel, subscribe to the channel, comment on the channel, share the channel. Let's get this channel growing and growing and growing and growing. I really, really appreciate that. Now we're gonna get into who I feel are the top 4 potential coaches for this job. We're gonna go from 4 to 1, and some of these names are names you've heard before, and some of these names might be a little bit new to it, but we're gonna break it down, because like I said, it's time to move on from Lovie Smith. We cannot continue this on. We cannot continue with going on Lovie Smith, especially you talking about drafting with the #1 overall pick, either drafting CJ or Bryce Young, drafting one of those 2 quarterbacks. You cannot come in and bring in Lovie Smith and Pep Hamilton. You cannot continue to do this. You cannot continue to run this back next year from a coaching position and bringing in a brand new quarterback, especially with the #1 overall pick. So we're going to talk about exactly who we should be targeting. So the 4th person on my list is a name that you guys know, former Houston Texan, Demeco Ryans. Demeco Ryans played for the Houston Texans from 2006 to 2011, and also played with the Philadelphia Eagles from 2012 to 2015. He was a defensive rookie of the year. He was a first-team All-Pro in 2007, 2-time Pro Bowl in 2007 and 2009. Was a All-SEC Defensive Player of the Year, all SEC defense back in 2005, and he's been coaching since 2017. He was a quality control coach for the San Francisco 49ers in 2014. Then he was a linebackers coach from 18 to 20, and then from 21 and this season right now, so there's 2 years, he's been the DC from the San Francisco 49ers. Guy coming out of Alabama in a minute. Guy who knows the city, knows the organization, was one of the great players. Like I said, 2nd round pick back in 2006. Like I said, defensive rookie of the year, made some Pro Bowls, all pros as a Houston Texan, and has showed what he can do from coordinating a defense standpoint, what he's doing with the San Francisco 49ers. Doing a good job coaching them, has the coaching experience. We all don't have no coaching experience, and also has the credentials as a player. And like I said, his alma mater is Alabama. With the #1 pick, if the Houston Texans so choose to take Bryce Young, who I feel like that's who the Texans are leaning towards. Part of the reason why I feel like the Texans will be leaning towards him, because of a lot of connections. And that's why I would think they will lean more towards Bryce than CJ in this instance, especially if you take a coach like Demeco Ryans. What is he going to do? He's going to lean on his knowledge of Nick Saban, knowing that his alma mater. I'm pretty sure he's been around it. Probably he's been around Bryce a couple times, even though I know he's doing this thing in San Francisco. But he knows their program pretty well. Bryce has won a Heisman Trophy with them, so I'm pretty sure he knows what he's capable of. Like I said, obviously knows his organization, knows the McNair family and things like that, and it shows his credentials as a defensive coordinator, or why I think he should be able to get a job. Defense is playing very, very well, and like I said, he's showing what he can do from a coaching standpoint. I think everybody will have his respect. They will listen to him and things like that. The reason why he's low on this list, the reason why he's the reason why he's 4th and not 2, 3, or 1 is because he's a defensive-minded guy, and I feel like with the first pick in the draft, you're probably going to draft a quarterback. And I feel like if you're going to draft a quarterback, what you need to, I feel like if you're going to draft a quarterback, what you need to do is have an offensive-minded guy. So that's my only knock on Demeco. That's the only reason why Demeco's not further up on this list. That's the reason why he's 4 instead of 3, 2, and 1, because the next 3 guys I'm going to talk about are offensive-minded guys. But other than that, other than the defense, which I think he will get the defense right, have Stingley playing in position, because that's the one gripe I have about Lovie with the defense right now. You're playing all this zone, you're playing Stingley and Peach, you're playing these guys out of position, and that's the reason why you're hearing more about Sauce and not really hearing about Stingley. Not just the New York market versus the Houston market, because obviously Sauce plays with the Jets, New York market, bigger market, but also the way that we're playing defense does not benefit Stingley. Stingley's doing his job correctly. I have no gripes to how Stingley's been playing. He's doing his job correctly. But the thing is, he's not allowed to do what makes him great, what makes him worth the 3rd overall pick, to make him do the splash plays and be splashy. He's not allowing you to do that because of the defense that Lovie's coaching. That's not going to be the case when it comes to Demeco. I definitely think Demeco will have him right in the right situation. Now, like I said, that's my 4th guy. My 3rd guy is Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Kellen Moore is a former quarterback. He was undrafted from Boise State. He played a couple years from 2012 to 2014 with the Detroit Lions, and also played 2015 to 2017 with the Dallas Cowboys. Was a quarterback coach in 2018 with the Dallas Cowboys, and has been the offensive coordinator since 2019. Now, we've seen, since 2019, we've seen Dak, especially 2020 before he got hurt, and last year, we've seen Dak have his best statistical years throwing the football under Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore has a nice, decent offense when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. Knows how to handle the 2 running back situation when it comes to Zeke and Pollard. I know a lot of people want to know what the Texans could do if they get another running back. I know a lot of people, especially when it comes to the mock draft, people been talking about adding either your A change from Texas A&M, your Tank Bisbee from Auburn. Other names. I know they just added the guy from Arizona the other day. They claimed him off for waivers, because you want to have a 2-back running back. I know with Damian Pierce is doing good as the 5th leading rusher in the NFL right now, but run that 2-back system. Kellen Moore, a former quarterback, and has been offensive coordinator since 2019. With a good offense with Dallas Cowboys, all the different receivers they've had over that little lifespan as well. I think that you drafting a quarterback number 1 overall, him being able to get to handpick a quarterback, that's something that would be very, very piquing the interest. And I like what Kellen Moore can do from an offensive standpoint, and I think I like what Kellen Moore can do if you give him Bryce or CJ. I think with him, Bryce or CJ would be good. I think more so, like I said, when it comes to Demeco Ryans, he's probably going to bring somebody off of that 49ers Shanahan type of coaching tree. You probably want somebody like Bryce Young to run that bootleg, that Kubiak Shanahan offense. You probably want somebody to run that type of style of offense, so you would lean more towards Bryce. Not to mention the Alabama connection. With Kellen Moore running with Dak, we've seen things he's done with Cooper Rush. We've seen things he's even done with Andy Dalton in a pinch when Dak was out. I think he could build an offense around either CJ or Bryce. So if you draft him, if you hire him, you're good with either CJ or Bryce, even a Hendon Hook if you want to go that route. You're able to get any of these quarterbacks. They will be fine with under Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore will be able to define offense and create offense for either of those quarterbacks. So I think that's a good offensive option. But he's still not my number 1 and my number 2. Even though I like what he does, there's sometimes the Dallas Cowboys offense can leave a little bit to desire. There's a lot of times, especially with the talent that you have, with CeeDee Lamb and Bernard Pollard and Zeke and Michael Gallup. It's still sometimes, in a couple years, when you had Amari Cooper, it was still sometimes you look at the Cowboy offense and it will leave a lot to be desired. Do you guys know that offensively, for people who think the offense is not a problem, do y'all know that since week 2, up until now, 8 games, that the Texans have ran 27 plays of offense while a lead. Not 27 drives, not 27 minutes. Ran 27 plays in an 8-game span. That's 3.3 plays a game that they've ran with a lead, and they won one of those games. So obviously they had a lead because they won the game. That's how anemic this offense is. They've only ran average from week 1 to now have averaged 3.5 something like that plays per game. So basically a 3 and out. They've went 3 and out in every single game with the lead. Not able to generate offense, not able to build on the lead, and not able to expand on the team, or at the very least run a drive down to at least keep your defense off the field. That's how anemic this offense is. So for people who don't think that we need to change offense and we don't need a quarterback, stop it. You're fooling yourself. You're completely fooling yourself. That's why we need offense, and I think that's why we need a shot in the arm when it comes to an offensive-minded head coach. That's the reason why Demeco's 4 and not 3, 2, or 1, because I think we need an offensive-minded coach. And like I said, even though I like what Kellen Moore has done, like I said, I do think that Kellen Moore does leave a lot. He leaves a lot to be desired. Now, my number 2 guy. It's a guy who I've mentioned plenty of times before, who under Deshaun Watson was my number 1 guy. And I've been saying he's my number 1 guy for a while, and I'm going to tell you why he's not my number 1 guy in a minute. And that's Byron Leftwich, the offensive coordinator of Tampa Bay. Now, Byron Leftwich himself is an NFL quarterback, was a first-round pick, 7th overall pick in 2003. He played from 2003 to 2006 with Jacksonville. Played 2007 with the Falcons, 2008 with Pittsburgh, 2009 with Tampa Bay, and then from 10 to 12 back with Pittsburgh. He was an intern in 2016 as a head coaching staff on the Cardinals coaching staff. Then from 2017 to 2018, he started off as a quarterback coach and then became the offensive coordinator midway through 2018, and then has been the Tampa Bay offensive coordinator since 2009. Has a Super Bowl championship as an offensive coordinator. So anybody named, he has the longest coaching history, and also he has the longest coaching history, and he's the only one has won a championship as a head coach, as a coach. Now, granted, he did have Tom Brady when he won, but we seen what he did with Jameis Winston. He coached Jameis Winston to Jameis Winston's best season from his career, leading the league in passing, throwing for over 5,000 yards. He can't help that Jameis throwing for 33 touchdowns. He can't help that Jameis Winston threw for a whole bunch of picks. Jameis Winston's always thrown for picks before he was coached by Byron Leftwich, and even since he's been not coached by Byron Leftwich and was in with the Saints. He still was throwing picks. That's just what Jameis does. Jameis is a quarterback who throws a lot of interceptions. So it has nothing to do with Byron Leftwich. I think him coaching with Tom Brady and him winning Super Bowl with Tom Brady shows he's able to adapt and change his offense from the offense that he was running to something more beneficial to Tom Brady and go on to win a championship and also go to the playoffs, and we'll see exactly what Tampa Bay will do the rest of the season. I don't think that's a knock. I think that actually shows that he doesn't have an ego and he has no problem of changing his offense and letting the quarterback shine. Unlike Bill O'Brien had an ego, he didn't want to change his offense. He wanted to still run the Tom Brady. He still wanted to run his Bill O'Brien type offense, even though you had Deshaun Watson and you should run something more towards him. So he actually showing you. I think him working with Tom Brady, even though he won Super Bowl, Tom Brady helps benefit and shows you that he's willing to change his offense depending on his quarterback. Even though I'm saying that, I do think that if you hire him, you're leaning more towards C.J. Stroud. The reason why is because the type of offense that he normally runs, the offense that he played in as a player, and the offense that him and Bruce Arians has coached under, because he's getting his coaching style from Bruce Arians and also playing the Bruce Arians in Pittsburgh. I think it's a combination of the Callion offense, if I'm not mistaken, which obviously is big arm, big quarterbacks. We're talking about guys who 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", guys who have strong arms. Like him, big quarterback, strong arm. Ben Roethlisberger, big quarterback, strong arm. Carson Palmer, big quarterback, strong arm. Andrew Luck, big quarterback, strong arm. Those are the guys. Jameis Winston, big quarterback, strong arm. Those are the type of guys that are normally with that mark. Now, Tom Brady is a bigger guy, but doesn't have a strong arm. I don't know exactly how tall Tom Brady is, but obviously he's not a small guy. And he has a decent arm, but he obviously doesn't have an Andrew Luck or Carson Palmer or Jameis Winston or Ben Roethlisberger type of arm. So I think he would lean more towards CJ, the benefits offense. Now, I just said I do think he showed you the no ego trip that he will change his offense for another quarterback. He's changing for Tom Brady. Will he change for Bryce Young? If you're picking Bryce Young number 1 overall, you have to change your offense to do what the type of offense that they run. And that offense is a big arm, strong arm, big quarterback who needs to stay in the pocket and deliver the football from the pocket, not move out of the pocket. Because a lot of people used to get on me when I used to bring up Byron Leftwich with the whole Deshaun Watson conversation, because they like Deshaun Watson is not that type of quarterback. Yeah, I get it, and you were right about that. But I did think that Byron, being a black quarterback as well, number 1 overall, well, not number, but first round pick, he'll see the game differently because he knows what it's like to be. None of these guys have been first round picks. You have an undrafted free agent in Kellen Moore. Demeco Ryans is a second round pick, but he's a defensive player, and he's a first round pick, 7th round, supposed to be given the keys to the franchise in Jacksonville. So he would know exactly how it feels coming from that space. So I think that he would help whoever he drafts as quarterback, help guide them through that. And I think they would be on the same trajectory. I do think he would lean more towards Stroud. I do think he will be able to coach Bryce. But I do think on some level it might hamstring you just a tad, but not too much though. Like not too much that it makes a huge difference. Now, this is the guy that's new on the list, and this is the number 1 guy, and I'm gonna tell you why he's the number 1 in a minute. And that's Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator of Buffalo. People have been talking about him for the past couple weeks. And the more I deep dive into it, not only is he the number 1 choice, it's the perfect choice, and it has to be the choice. And really, this really has to be where you lean on. Now, Ken Dorsey, former quarterback, was a 7th round pick for the San Francisco 49ers. He played for the 49ers from 2003 to 2005. Played with the Cleveland Browns from 2006 to 2008. And just recently got into coaching in 2013. He was the quarterback coach for the Carolina Panthers from 13 to 17. Then was the quarterback coach from 19 to 20 in Buffalo, and has been the passing game coordinator and offensive coordinator since 2001. From 2021 to now 2022. And like I said, he's a former quarterback, and I'm bringing that in a minute. But the type of what he's done from a quarterback coaching standpoint, he got with Cam Newton right after Cam Newton's first couple of years. So right when Cam Newton started to change, and we start seeing the MVP Cam Newton, and we start seeing the Pro Bowl All-Pro type Cam Newton. Now you know Cam Newton came out one rookie year, his first year, but then like his second and third year, he kind of wasn't playing like that. His game started changing a little bit as he got older. Ken Dorsey was there as a quarterback coach. Now we all know that position coaches, quarterback coaches, linebacker coaches, receiver coaches, those guys are the coaches that work players more so than anybody, more so than the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, the head coach. So he's been definitely around quarterbacks. He spent more time with Cam Newton. Same thing with Josh Allen. Josh Allen's first 2 years, 2017 and 2017, because Josh Allen was drafted in 2018. He was drafted in 2018. Then he was drafted in 2018. He comes and takes over the offense once Josh Allen starts to turn the corner. Not Josh Allen's first year when he was bad. The second year we went to the playoffs, and then when you go out there and you get a receiver in Stephon Diggs, and we see the Josh Allen that we're seeing now, who's going to the AFC Championship game, who's in a duel with Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, who's the front runner coming into the season as the league MVP, the guy who's playing as well, one of the top fantasy guys coming into the fantasy drafts and things like that. Ken Dorsey was a part of that. Ken Dorsey was a part of that change. Ken Dorsey helped that. And like I said, Ken Dorsey is a former quarterback himself. Yeah, I know he played with, right? Quarterback of the U. Miami. 2000. 2001. Know who was his number 1 target? Andre Johnson, who was also the Texans' greatest player. I know people say JJ, and I get it, but we recognize that Dre is the best player in franchise history, who people, especially since Jack Easterby has been fired, and people, even Andre Johnson himself, has been advocating for him to be back into the fold, him actually having some type of player personnel or president of options, or whatever the titles is that people be having, football operations, whatever the titles that people want to throw around. people been advocating for Dre to get that title. You don't think that him and Dre could be in a room together and they go out there and draft Bryce Young or go out there and draft C.J. Stroud, that they can define and create an offense for him? And you don't think that Dre will be like, hey, y'all, hey, like, this dude a leader. Like all the personalities that was in that Miami Hurricane team, not Ray Lewis, but your Ed Reeds, your Jeremy Shockey's, Clem Portis, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore, Philip Buchanan, Vince Wilfork, Sean Taylor, Jonathan Vilma, if I'm not mistaken, Chris Myers, who else? I'm trying to think, Kellen Winslow. All these big names, the big personalities. I know you seen Andre Johnson. You're hearing all these names. No wonder they won. He had all that talent. And don't get me wrong, I feel like that 2001 Miami Hurricane team is the best assembled team, period, when it comes to college football. But if you heard people talk about Kellen Moore, the boy had respect over everybody in there. He had respect over everybody in there. Everybody had respect for Kellen Moore. So I think that he will come in as a head coach and have respect to everybody in this locker room. And I think the type of quarterbacks he's been around, Josh Allen and Cam Newton, mobile quarterbacks running around doing other stuff, you going out there, you getting Bryce Young, bro. You going out there with the first pick, you going to get Bryce Young, Andre was here when Deshaun, he was around the building when Deshaun was here. He made, look, I know what this franchise is about. I know what this franchise is seen. When I was here, I know the dark days after I left, and then even the days when we had some hope and we had Deshaun Watson. You can be the guy. And they will define the offense and create an offense tailor-made for him and go out there and win football games. And he's only 41 years old. All these guys are young. Like Demeco, I think Kellen Moore is the youngest at 34. Byron Leftwich is the oldest at 32. I mean, at 42. Demeco was 38, and Kellen Moore is 41. So all these guys is young. So all these guys will grow up with whatever quarterback you draft. So if you draft whatever quarterback you draft, they hit for 10 to 15 years. These guys are gonna be in their late 50s, mid 50s. These guys are gonna be in their mid 50s in 15 years. Like you got coaches who just now getting coaching opportunities in their 50s. Our coach right now, Lovie Smith, is in his mid 60s, like 63, 64. However, Lovey's an older guy. These guys are 25 years, 20 some years younger than the coach we have right now. So you draft a quarterback. If this works out with these with these coaches and these quarterbacks, they'll probably coach this quarterback till they retire and still be here long enough to bring in the new coach. I mean, a new quarterback. That's the type of longevity you possibly could have when you talk about hiring these young head coaches, man. Like I just said, this is the move. I think that Ken Dorsey is the move. That's the guy that you need to hire. Ken Dorsey is my number one pick. If I said Kellen Moore when I first said his name, I apologize. But Ken Dorsey, I feel like, is the number one selection who they should hire and replace Lovie. Don't get mistaken. You need to replace Lovie. I don't care about the one and done thing. Replace Lovie with one. You get any of these four guys, I'm not tripping. But Ken Dorsey is one. Byron is two. Kellen Moore is three. Demeco is four. That's it. That's the list. That's the reason why. And I think because 3 out of the 4, I think benefit more so from Bryce Young being the quarterback, from connections, from schools and play style, versus one benefits more from Byron Leftwich, the only one that really benefits from CJ from a coaching standpoint. So I think that's why you probably lean a little bit more towards Bryce Young than CJ in this regard. But like I said, I think you should make the right head coaching hire, make a head coaching hire, and that's who you should hire. That's exactly who you should hire. That's really it. And that's how you should be able to move on. And I think that will move the franchise in the right, correct direction. I think you need to trend towards the offensive guy, but don't get me wrong, I think Demeco can come in and do wonders as well. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I'll holla.